What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, getting ready here for our live session. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Happy birthday, as well as happy Canada Day. Canada Day, we asked what was Canada Day, and they have pancakes in the morning with that awesome maple syrup, with that incredible Canadian fresh maple syrup. And then they wait all day dressed in red and white, the colors of of Canada. They wait all day for fireworks at night. Sounds fun. We have also coming up this weekend, Saturday in the US, is July 4th, Independence Day. And, everyone likes to get together with friends and family and barbecue and then wait and shoot off some fireworks as well. Awesome. So that brings us to where we are today. And we're going to take a look right here at the S&P in just 1 second. Because right now, actually the S&P has just made quite a move in the past hour or so. Checking in that in 1 second. But by the way, when I say by the way, that means what is my next thought? Oh, we are entering a holiday weekend. We're looking for non-farm payrolls. Non-farm payrolls tomorrow. That's coming after. That's after ADP employment data came in slow. So you can see it here. The number came in worse. And the revision from last month was actually down also. So the market will be focused in on that. But at the end of the day, it's a 3-day weekend. That market is probably going to be bid up tomorrow over here, the S&P. I would be out right now if we would have took this trade yesterday following the 8-hour as price made the lower low. I would be out of the market, and I would have stayed out of the market right now. So I think that's the best place to be. We have actually, since this resistance over here, been looked at the downside, a little bit of the upside. The downside stopped out over this short over here, right there. Been taking that upside there, avoiding the downside. and then again right over there. And now it's time to be neutral as we're coming in. We're coming into tomorrow non-farm payroll, and then we're looking at the 3-day weekend. You don't want to be holding these now. If I didn't exit over here, I would have exited. I didn't take the trade. I'm not actually in any trades right now, and I'm not looking now to take any trades this week. It will be a full week of no trades, first one all year, but it's the right week to do that. And I didn't go into the week thinking that was going to be the case for me. I was looking and hunting, Monday and Tuesday. This just is what it is. But it is now Wednesday. I saw a lot of people taking a lot of trades this week. I saw people that were not yet break even or better, right? Which should be the first 3 to 5 weeks. I saw a lot of those people taking 6 trades already this week. I haven't taken any. So that's a big deal. But the S&P is moving up quite nicely this morning. And, just looking at the chart alone, you know, after you had this little down bar, that caused me to say, okay, time to be on the sidelines. As I didn't expect this, and if anyone is long here this morning, well, you have a nice trade now to hold and manage, and maybe this drifts up. Maybe this continues to drift up through tomorrow. Maybe there's a little bit of volatility during the data print tomorrow, and then maybe this continues to rise. So anyone who is involved in that, it's a good place to be. Yeah, so there we go. Peter saying, hold on, Peter. Peter saying he's still in the long in S&P from yesterday. Are you saying that you should be out of that by now? Well, if you're in it now you continue to hold that, Peter, because you've already started making new highs again, right? Yeah, I would have taken the exit over here, right over there, as price made that lower low. And then I would have, obviously, we said we're not taking the short side. We weren't taking the short side here. You're not taking the short side here. You're in the middle of the range. There's no reason to take that short. And I wouldn't have been on the game to take that long over there. That's a good one. And if you're still long, then you have every reason to continue holding this trade, right? And now you could even just go ahead and probably set your stop right there. If you trade below 30.86, at that point, you probably just want to lock in your profits from your trade. And if not, yeah, give it room now. Now you're on the right. Now you're really pushing a really great trade. I miss the music. I like the music in the background. What's going up? Great to see you this morning, Isan. Glad that you're here today. So, we have to look at gold and silver this morning. That's for sure. So, by the way, let me finish that train of thought because this session is going to be much different than the normal session. I started off with the fact that we're in the summer. Not only are we entering summer trading, which means that we have about 6 more weeks of trading. The last 2 weeks of August are absolutely no trading. The markets are not open for us. Yeah, the markets are open, but that and Christmas are the 2 times of year where you completely avoid altogether. I have no idea why the charts are showing these green bars over here. I've tried to delete this. I don't know what's going on over there or how or why that looks like that, but I would like to be able to control that. It's kind of cool looking. So what I'm seeing people who are not yet even break. Thanks for that, love. Thanks for that. Everyone who's gone ahead and smashed that like button today. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I've seen a lot of people who aren't even yet break even traders who are losing traders taking too many trades this week. Right? Taking too many trades. If you're one of those and you're hearing this right now, that should be a red flag. A red flag. And going in the rest of the week, are you asking yourself right now, am I looking to take a trade during the volatility tomorrow of non-farm payroll? If there is, I don't think so. We've had a couple of good trades, one loss, but a couple of good trades on the S&P this week. If that's where like the focus has been. I was looking for FX to get into trades and really hungry on Monday and Tuesday for that to happen, but it didn't. And so here I am watching everything, and you shouldn't be trading is what I'm getting at. You shouldn't be trading. So that's really the focus. You have about the next 6 weeks during the rest of the summer to really, and we're consolidating right now. in across the board, we're consolidating. We're ready if we get, say we get a breakdown over here, which leads to a larger move down over to the 1.11 support, or even further back into the 1.1 support. Those are big moves that could happen during the next 6 weeks. This could even happen next week, right? So we're watching that. You should still be watching the market. You should be selective about your trades and being looking to take those trades, but you're only taking 3 trades a week. 3 trades a week. This type of week, if you took 6 trades, it's Wednesday, and if you're already taking 6 trades in this week where price is consolidating and the markets are a little flat, you're doing this wrong, and we just need to get you on the right side. So at let's look at the DXY over here. This is the dollar index, and this is kind of what we're looking for, right? We're looking for over the rest of this week, just this blue type of consolidation into this resistance over here. This is trend line resistance from the channel, and then you got big horizontal resistance at 98.30. So I don't think we break out above this before next week. Next week, that's on the board. We'll be watching for that. Right now, I'm looking for some consolidation further, and then we'll be watching to see where we could perhaps get a rejection off of this resistance to the downside to see if the dollar weakness continues. That could be a great entry going forward, as well as would a breakout here to the upside. But right now, she's consolidating. You can see it clearly on the euro US dollar, where, until you get the breakdown over here, right now we should be holding support, rising up, continuing this consolidation. If we break out here to the upside, it's going to lead to a big move, and a breakdown at this point over here could lead to a nice leg down between either the support again at 1.11 or the support below it at 1.1. What about gold? Gold coming off a little bit after coming off its highs, 8-year highs, just a little bit right here this morning. You're looking for pullbacks, I assume, to get long gold if you are looking to position into gold, right? Same thing with silver. Silver also buying off supports. We are just going to be in a mega bull trend in both gold and silver. But most importantly is Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, again, just like the precious metals, you can see that it's lagging gold a little bit right now. It's lagging. It's not pushing yearly highs. Yearly highs 10,400, right? It's not pushing yearly highs like gold is. It's kind of like more like silver in the fact that it's pulled back a little bit off its highs. But as these things start making their new highs, just like silver is going to be outperforming gold, you're going to see Bitcoin outperforming them both. Let's take a look at some of these comments. I haven't been able to catch up on them. I've just been a little bit focused on what I'm doing. Venezuela checking in over here. Love the people of Venezuela. People all over the world are so amazing, aren't they? People all over the world. Thank you, Isan, smashing that like button, showing a little bit of love in here. Yep. I don't know who's having a misunderstanding about what's going on over there. Why are people having misunderstandings? We try to be as clear as possible. Maria, happy Canada Day. Speaking of the beautiful people of Venezuela. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, Adine, you need to trade smaller. You are actually obviously have a lot of skills, but you're trading too big. Once the virus numbers are better, the dollar will rise. Yep. Yeah, I mean things are the dollar's kind of in that range, Kips, right? The dollar's in that range. Let's look at the 3-day and really get just a clearer view of the dollar. I mean, between 95 and 100 is kind of the range that's going back now 5 years, right? Between 9, even a little bit lower, whatever. You could even call it 90. You could even call it 92 and 103. But more specifically between 100 and 95, we're in the middle of that range right now. And how much longer will the dollar stay in that range? That's a question. That's a question. What's going on, Will? Will, thanks for that. Thanks for that note yesterday. I did appreciate that note of thanks. Boom. I didn't hear about that, GP. I didn't hear about countries. We're now going to hear about countries mining Bitcoin, going for that hash rate, accumulating Bitcoin. Who's going to be the first country to disclose their Bitcoin holdings? What's going on? Who's playing options? If you're playing options, I hope you're selling them, right? What is it? 80% of options expire worthless. Happy Canada Day. Leon, it's noted as a beginner strategy, right? If anyone has seen the video on the Bitcoin playlist, and it's the beginner's Bitcoin strategy, and it's how to keep yourself on the right side of the market. Let me try to have this in my way. Let me pull up the 12-hour chart, which that strategy is trade on, and let me also pull up the True Trend BTC, which is used for that. Right, I'm pulling up the True Trend BTC. A lot of people have trouble finding the true trend on TradingView, but you just type in true trend right here. You just type in true trend and then it'll show up. So I'm pulling up the true trend BTC right now and deleting that one just so you could see. And the purpose of this on the 12-hour time frame using the trend CC, the true trend 333 period on the trend CCI will keep you on the right side of the market. This is for long-term holders of Bitcoin. The way that, listen, there's a bull market coming on Bitcoin. We're looking at a 10 to 35x coming in the next 18 months. You want to participate, but at the same time, you like maybe you're not. Maybe you don't know your Bitcoin. It took me literally 2 years of spending an insane amount of time weekly trying to understand Bitcoin to begin to understand Bitcoin. Not that I even understand Bitcoin. There are people who definitely are more schooled than I am. But I have spent 2 years of many full-time study a week, right? And so here you go. If you would have during the crisis been using this strategy, you would have gotten yourself out of Bitcoin, right? On the sidelines at 8,000, right? Then through all of this, probably you would have bought more down here because we all did. But if you were on the sidelines over here, right, as you came down over here, if you had available funds on an exchange to buy Bitcoin, there's no question you would have been buying Bitcoin down over here because we all were. But that's not part of the strategy. You wait till Bitcoin starts coming back above, is green again, and here it's happening at 81.5. All right, so you lost $150, right, if you're following this strategy, right? But you saved yourself from all of that anxiety and or maybe selling all your Bitcoin down here thinking it's going down to zero or it's going down to 2,000 or whatever or 1,000 or whatever these people say, right? So you might have been selling your Bitcoin if you were not out. I'd rather take the $150 loss, not have to worry about any of this nonsense, and then just, I should be holding Bitcoin right now. Right? And if this breaks out over here, guess what? You're on the right side. If this turns red again and you're not sure, right? If you're breaking down from this triangle over here and losing this important support back here over here at 81.52, yeah, you could get out and back on the sidelines, right? But as far as those who are waiting for the break up here to get into Bitcoin, I think this is a good place to buy into Bitcoin if you don't own it. So that's right. It's just the one thing I ask of all of you. If you're enjoying the session, if you're enjoying the time spent together, if you want to help support the channel, go ahead and smash that like button. But only do it if you learn something. Or that also goes like if you learned something, because I receive feedback all the time about people who this has changed their life. This has changed their life, and they now are able to trade the markets successfully and a lot better. And if you're one of those people, then you just always smash the like button. right? That's not if you learn something new. You could just always smash the like button. So absolutely, Venezuela in the house. Belgium checking in. Lemmy, good to see you here today. Right? That's right. That's right, Reza. People all over the world, sisters and brothers, people, great people all over the world. I remember the first time I traveled to Russia in Moscow, and I was in someone's house eating, and they basically were the warmest people I've ever seen in my whole life. There are some cultures like Italians who are really warm around the table. The Russian people, you have no idea. People are beautiful all around the world. Brandon, am I showing you my personal live trades? No, I'm not showing my personal live trades. I'm not showing you my personal live trades. Yeah, I don't know, Bart, whether the dollar is going to rise or fall. I don't know if the dollar is going to fall because of there's more stimulus coming. We looked at that last night. We looked at that on the video. We talked about the fact that in the afternoon video that I lost my train of thought over there. I have to do it again. The dollar will actually rise when the virus numbers go up again. I don't know. I think we have more stimulus coming, and that stimulus is going to continue to weigh on the dollar. Now, ultimately, the dollar shortage problem will probably rear its head again, but that might be a few years. That might be more than a few years. From the first time they did it in 2008, it took 10 years for them to start quantitative tightening, which lasted a very short time, about a year, and then they had to go ahead and start QE again. So I don't know how long does it last this time? 5 years? It might last 5 years. Be careful about the dollar, right? When it comes to the dollar, all you need to do is focus here. Use the true trend BTC 33 period, right? On 12-hour time frame. Look at this. You should be short the dollar. We are short. Look where we got short the dollar. Because if you don't I don't use the true trend, right? I use charts with price alone. Now the true trend is also great and wonderful, right? But it's not a strategy in itself. But you can see over here, we played the breakdown of that channel. Here it is, just getting you short over there. You don't get long again, right? It's not trying to find the bottom of the trend and the top. It's trying to get that sweet spot in the middle that you could trade easily. If we're breaking back above that 98.30 resistance we keep looking at, right, and the trend line over here that we broke down, if we break back above it, you're going to have also over here the trend CCI taking you on the upside over here. So pretty neat. Pretty neat. Yeah. What governments are going to start mining? What governments? I heard that also that Venezuela is now accepting Bitcoin for government payments using a BTC pay server, which means that they have no way of knowing where that money is coming from. Well, that's a common misnomer that Bitcoin is used 80% by criminals. Actually, the US dollar is used 99% by criminals, maybe 95%. But the US dollar is the primary currency, and specifically cash, which is untraceable, by criminals. Now, right, Bitcoin is completely traceable. Criminals actually that use Bitcoin generally get caught. That stuff's all on the blockchain. Law enforcement loves criminals using Bitcoin, but there's a study done, and I believe that even when you look at the amount of money laundering going on, which primarily happens again in dollars, through banks, those European banks that we saw laundering enormous amount of US dollars. You're talking billions and billions. That doesn't happen in Bitcoin. It was, what was it, like 0.5% of the money laundered in the world is in Bitcoin. So definitely common. Bitcoin is actually, and like I said, I studied for a couple of years. Bitcoin is actually, a choice for freedom. Bitcoin is fair. Bitcoin is just. You don't have a group of people in suits and ties, academics, making up monetary policy as they go, with no idea of what's happening or what's going on. Or do they? Are they systematically creating inequality on purpose? Right? Is that the whole purpose of the central banking system in the first place? It's working, right? Bitcoin, that doesn't work like that, right? Bitcoin has a set monetary policy. It's a hard money policy. So I guess a lot of people in the next 2 months we're going to see a big bull market in Bitcoin. We're going to see a lot of adoption play take. We're going to see a lot of people learn a lot about Bitcoin as the price rises. It's the rising price that's going to attract everyone to Bitcoin. It's when Bitcoin's trading at new all-time highs between $20,000 and $30,000, where it's all over the media, that everyone is going to start paying attention because of Bitcoin's price, and then they're going to start learning about Bitcoin itself. And that's what all bull mania phases do, is they attract attention and adoption. And then shortly thereafter, you go through the bull market phase, right? The bull market phase, and all those people who bought in during the euphoria, and it starts becoming euphoria when Bitcoin's trading, at 150, 200, 250, $300,000. That's going to be euphoria, right? And a lot of people will still be buying in up at those prices. We'll be positioned ahead because Bitcoin has that bull market mania phase to attract adoption on purpose, and then it has that actual bear market phase so that building and infrastructure could take place. That's all designed by Satoshi. It's pretty genius. I mean, Bitcoin is the most genius piece of software ever invented. Take a moment to think about that Bitcoin is the most genius piece of software ever invented. So there we are. It's a Bitcoin morning, I guess. It's a Bitcoin morning. Yeah, especially now as we are in a holiday week. We have non-farm payroll tomorrow. The markets are kind of just doing nothing. And I said here on the S&P 500, which was really what we've been following, right? Right, this morning is when you got out of this long, and now you should be on the sidelines, not looking to get back in, long or short. It was earlier in the week, coming off the support down here, that after trying the short right over here and then getting stopped out, right? We all got long, and then we said no longer do we look to take any short trades, any short impulses down. We're just looking at the long side. So, take profit here, get back long again here, take profit again here. I'm looking on the 12-hour. Sorry. Over here it was long, get out. You don't take the short. Over here, long, get out. Don't take the short. If you're still long because you didn't take profit over here, we'll continue holding the trade. But that's it. Right here, we're also in no man's land. We're up towards this resistance, most importantly, and at the same time, you're in no man's land, the dead center of this channel. So unless you're holding long, there's no new positions to take. Let's see what happens on Monday. That's where we're at on the S&P. You shouldn't be looking to push something any further now. There were plenty of opportunities this week. At this point, I guess at this point, people just need to understand the importance of not trading at certain times. Again, we spoke about the last 2 weeks of August. There's from the middle of December through January 4th, 6th, 5th that you're not looking to trade. Oh, and Crazy Canucks, big shout out to my friends in Newfoundland, Canadian people. Yeah, I prefer mezcal. Yeah, because it's personal. The waves are Cameron. You seen a bunch of waves rolling. I'm more of like, all right, I'm actually gonna get out of the water right now, and I'm gonna go lay on the sand, get a little sun, get some food to eat. Read a book, listen to some good music, and then get ready for when I get back out there. And when I get back out there, I'm gonna rip it up. So, this is very important. I wanted to talk about GP. Is asking do you think the stimulus will come when the market's where they are? I was speaking to a friend last night, and worked as for a long time, for many years, as some type of account manager in a casino in California. and was furloughed during the COVID lockdown. And then, the manager even took him out to dinner and was like, listen, we have to let you go until really things, open up. He was receiving that extra $600 unemployment. And, that's running out in July. That he's not, I mean, this is a guy who had a really good job, was promoted a year earlier, and just the casino's closed. And if the casino's closed, they can't pay their employees. They have to let them go. We're looking at further. It looks like we could be looking at possible further lockdowns if we have a second wave. There's no question about it. Would New York City have survived if they didn't go down into lockdown? Or how much worse would it have been? Questions you need to ask yourself. But a lot of people have not gotten their jobs back and are not getting their jobs back anytime soon. What are they going to do? Right? It's an election year. So instead of the people that are elected officials working for the people and doing what they can so that people could eat and take care of their families, instead they're going to be playing politics on both sides of the aisle. Right? That's what that means. So you're going to have people withholding that in order to get people angry so they vote for their party. And then you're going to have other people trying to push as much stimulus as possible so they get reelected. That's what you're looking at happening right now. Neither side, well, we'll leave it at that. Yeah, the gold standard we tried, right? Gold. So you heard about all that counterfeit gold in coming out of China. You could just Google counterfeit gold China, read up on it. It was an enormous amount of counterfeit gold. That's the problem with gold. It's very easy to counterfeit, and it's very difficult to store. Mango Mangy Yo 69. We don't spam the channel. All right, so just take that as probably the only warning I've given in the past 2 weeks. Yeah, but you are welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, Brian, and really, really excited to see. Expect 6 weeks. This is the perfect time, Brian. You have the next 6 weeks, right, before the last 2 weeks of August to really focus in on. 3 to 5 weeks, no question, you should be break even or profitable, Brian. 3 to 5 weeks within. So that means by the September, by the fall, Brian, you should know you should be trading consistently profitable, working toward your next goal of hitting, that 2 to 3%. I'm glad you're with us now, Brian. That's perfect. That's true. That's true. Yeah, the U.S. Treasury is actually holding the most money it's ever held, $1.5 trillion dollars. That's pretty much a war chest. They could do a lot with that, and they will be putting that money to work. So whether or not there's any stimulus coming from the Fed because the markets are not trading at a level which would warrant a stimulus, right? That stimulus could come from the U.S. Treasury directly. I don't think it's going to come bipartisan. Oh, that's cool. What's the name of that documentary? I'd like to check that out. Matt is asking, what are the flaws of Bitcoin? What are the flaws of Bitcoin? Well, it's software, and software could have bugs in it. That's that's a big risk of Bitcoin is the fact that it's software. It was not. It was very recently. It was only a year and a half ago that a Bitcoin Cash developer caught a software inflation bug on the Bitcoin Core software and told everyone about it so that it was fixed really quick, but it would cause more than the 21 million Bitcoin coins. That's a problem. That's something you have to worry about. Of course, you also have to worry. It's not a flaw of Bitcoin. The fact that it's software is its strength and its flaw, right? But when you asked about if you're asking what are the risks of Bitcoin, there's no question that the government could come in and they could make on and off ramps to Bitcoin difficult. There's no question they could do that, right? They can't really outlaw Bitcoin. They can't confiscate Bitcoin. They could make on and off ramps really difficult, but it seems to me that a lot of congressmen and senators are really informed when it comes to Bitcoin, and they understand that there's nothing they could do to control it. It was Mark Zuckerberg and the head of Libra who was brought in to testify when Libra was going to be launched. You can't do that to a decentralized Bitcoin that has no face of the company. S&P rising over here. There are risks to Bitcoin, but those risks to Bitcoin were much greater, 3 years ago and 5 years ago and 7 years ago. There's nothing to look at intraday. There's nothing to look at intraday, right? You're not looking intraday. Uh, that's not the time frame that you want to be focused on right now with how the markets are moving. Yeah, that's probably one of the few. I'm behind Square SQ. Let's pull it up. I actually I have it in my ticker over here. I'll tell you something. And man, I remember not too long ago. I remember not too long ago during the crisis, Square trading somewhere in the 40s and saying to myself, "Wow, that is a great buy." But I do also recall it was somewhere here where Square had its earnings for the quarter during including the crisis, and they had record earnings, and half of their revenue came from Bitcoin purchases. So think about that for a second. They had record at revenue, half of their during the crisis, during the lockdown, point of sale system software, mom and pop out of the picture. Square had record earnings, and half of that came from the purchase of Bitcoin. As Bitcoin goes through this adoption stage, you should see Square's earnings definitely continuing to increase, and they are quarter over quarter by a large margin. They support the development of Bitcoin. It's the first public company to actually independently just pay developers of Bitcoin to spend all day working on Bitcoin and making it better so that it will benefit their company down the line. So Square is pretty cool. Square is pretty cool. Yeah, it's not. That's the point. There's privacy coins such as Monero. Monero is completely private, right? As far as I know, it's completely private, and you could use Monero, right? And that's a privacy coin. Probably will have a pretty epic bull run coming up here during the bull market because there's a big use case for Monero that's privacy. Bitcoin is not private, so don't use it thinking that it's private because it definitely leaves a big trail. And Bitcoin looks pretty good right here on the 8 hour, by the way, as it's holding this support and now making a higher high. So that looks like Bitcoin has the potential here to roll out of this one. Watch that. That's right, Tim. That's right, Tim. Because of cash, they're trying to replace that with digital currency that they could track and trace and cut off from, right? They already use the US dollar as a weapon. Everyone will FOMO into Bitcoin eventually, and that's not only, that's probably highly likely. Before everyone FOMOs in, you're going to see Bitcoin when it reaches around $50,000 is when you start seeing institutions and funds FOMO in, because at that point they'll have no choice but to own Bitcoin in their portfolio, or they will be taken account for not providing fiduciary responsibility. There's no question you're going to see a large FOMO, a big money coming in. Probably, the people that a legitimate bank will have to first endorse Bitcoin before I'll invest in it. Well, first of all, they already have, right? Coming from whether it's JP Morgan or PayPal last week. PayPal, once an enemy of Bitcoin, now last week is starting to accept Bitcoin for their 225 million users. Adoption's happening. Everyone's behind it. Yeah, you got to look at your local, talk to an accountant, but generally speaking, you hold on to Bitcoin for over a year, right? Then you're paying capital gains. But definitely, do your research, speak to an accountant. It is a beautiful, beautiful Bitcoin morning. That's right. Yeah, I don't know if are you betting on the markets going down? Are you betting on the markets going down? I'm not. I'm betting on the markets going up, right? Betting on the markets going up. Going back to the beginning of the week, received a lot over the weekend. Over the weekend, markets were trading down over here. The weekend the weekend videos were about where into support, why we laid out what we do. If we break that, and if we break that trend line, break that support, we're looking to attack to the downside. But we said that most likely we're going to be drifting now, finding support to the upside. A lot of people did not like that. That's what happened. Yeah, tomorrow morning we'll have some volatility. There's no question about it. Tomorrow morning we should see some volatility. Um, you know, but then really quick, everyone's going away for a long weekend. You know, so by 11 o'clock a.m. everyone is gone. 11 o'clock a.m. tomorrow Eastern time, everyone's gone. And that's not to say that there can't be a big range trend day tomorrow. That could happen, but the probability of that's very low. That's not something that you should be looking for. Yeah, yeah, mezcal for the win for sure. There's something about getting mezcaled that's much different than tequila. Silver surfing. Let's take a look at silver. Let's take a look at not only silver. All right, well, silver, not today, Karen, but it is. It is. Let's take a. Everyone has seen. Has everyone seen in the afternoon video when I did the gold and silver, right? When I looked at the gold and silver ratio, and I talked about why silver should be continued to outperform gold in the coming time. I did everyone see that or no? It was really good. Before I get into that, why you guys, I'll only check out where the support is at silver. By the way, I have support in at 1740. I have support in at 1740 on silver. Max was asking. Yeah, Peter, I thought it was really interesting. That's what I try to do. I try to share stuff that I find really, really interesting. And nice, Nick. Yeah, Andre, we'll take a look at Tesla 1 second. But so I was under the up until, let's say, up until the crisis, and I didn't stop at the crisis. It's really just in the last couple of weeks that I've changed my mind. But up until the crisis, I was under the thesis that gold is going to continue to outpace silver in appreciation because we're in this current regime where we're looking at central banks and sovereign nations accumulating gold, right? Now, interestingly enough, ever since the crisis, Russia has not been able to buy gold, right? They just haven't had the extra money to buy it. They're in a crisis like everyone else. China, the same thing, hasn't been increasing their gold reserves. And we're starting to see actually silver now outperform gold. So I wanted to look deeper into that. I looked at the 2008 crisis. I looked at what happened to price, in that time. Hold on. There we go. And that was back over here. And once the crisis was right over here, back in October of 2008, Lehman goes bankrupt. And here's where the Fed starts QE in December, right here. Right here's crisis, and this is the top of the gold to silver ratio. You can see first the spike down, and now in this little phase that we're in right now, I'll show that to you in a second. And then before really ultimately during the bull market here, really crushing gold. And you can see right now we've entered a similar phase over here. We've had the Fed start QE, which would like the crisis is where we peak up. Fed starts QE, and now we're seeing that spike down. So now I'm looking to see if we have any type of consolidation, right? Any type of consolidation, and then that big leg down. Now that's not to say that this is going to go on for the next 6 months to a year. Maybe we get that trigger sooner, but I want to be watching that. The other thing, Tesla. Andre wanted to look at Tesla, and we sure could. Look at that. That's beautiful to see. That's beautiful to see. Wow. I don't know. Again, I don't know why my candles are green like this. I can't take it off. I have no idea what that is. But either which way. But Andre, I mean, wow. What else could you say? Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question about what books I recommend. Books are great. So the books that I've enjoyed the most and read over and over again in the 20 years that I've been involved in the markets has been the Market Wizard and the New Market Wizard books, and then Remnants of a Stock Operator. And those are the best books I ever read. I read them. I've listened to them recently. I could picture myself again, being on a plane and listening to the Market Wizards or anything like that. But I never, as far as Bitcoin futures and any books I recommend reading, there's nothing that I know of or would tell you. Yeah, Super Green is like we're going. Super Green is we're really going. Yeah, so this is a question I can't answer. Where oh, did anyone see that chart we showed yesterday of gold versus fiat and then the dollar versus fiat? That was a good looking chart. The dollar's been obviously outperforming everything against all of the fiat, and gold has been outperforming against the dollar. Interesting stuff. So by the way, there was another point of that bank stocks. Then I showed the chart of negative yielding debt in the world and the gold chart. Did you see those charts? They were so good. And when you're wondering, about bank stocks, you have to wonder where interest rates are going in the U.S. Are they going negative? There's some people who are really against that idea could ever take place, and they won't even consider it. But what happens if you see the interest rates go negative in the dollar and you see that global negative yielding debt rising? I mean, it's rising right now. It's not tightening. So it leads me to believe there's going to be further negative rates. And that means that bank stocks will continue to be under pressure, in my opinion. But I'm not the person to ask for that. And Livermore is just the best, the best. The story of Jesse Livermore is fascinating. Probably the greatest and worst trader of all time. Right? He had made over $1 trillion in today's money trading, and he made two or three fortunes in his lifetime, and also lost them. Ultimately, committed suicide. So, but man, so if you want to listen to someone talk about, the tape and price action, you should be reading that. But those big move in Bitcoin, yeah, we're gonna get accused here of talking up Bitcoin, but really we were just watching that 8 hour impulse over there. Thank you, Mart. I appreciate that. I put a lot of work into them. It's and I enjoy them. I'm glad you do too. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is a great question. What are my thoughts on the energy consumption of Bitcoin? And um, so I'm out of the loop. It's been about 6 months since I have really dug into what's going on in Bitcoin. But basically, Bitcoin is like this efficient beast, and it's looking for the most efficient energy across the world. Whoever has the lowest cost of energy and the best hardware is going to win in the Bitcoin mining game, which is extraordinarily competitive. So they're looking for very low cost energy. You see a lot of sustainable energy, whether it's coming from what do they use? They use the Earth's core. They use solar. They use in Iceland. I forgot what type of. I think they're using the thermo energy in Iceland. That's where a lot of miners are, and a lot are moving towards Texas and towards solar mining And you're going to see most of Bitcoin energy is actually coming from renewable energy. And then you also have the energy companies inside the US, the shale oil companies, when they are fracking, right, or when they're pulling up wells, there's some type of gas that is released that is bad. They're limited to the amount of gas that they could use of that, right? And if they cap it and then use that to mine Bitcoin, it actually allows them to be pulling up more oil from the ground because they're not exceeding those limitations, and also they're receiving something that was burn off before. It was wasted is now used to actually bring in Bitcoin income. So that is you're going to see the U.S. oil industry really turning towards Bitcoin, and yeah, Bitcoin is moving towards the cheapest and best renewable form of energy. Hey man, I love sharing this time with you. I'm actually enjoying this week right now because today is the day. Like, listen, right? Stand aside, beware of where you are, right? We again, this is the first week since back to December. I haven't taken a trade, and that was not my plan going into the week at all. But that's the best place to be right now. Just wait for some moves to open up that could provide some follow through. Otherwise, right now you're looking at very tough trading. Probably, either you're looking at tough trading, break even or better. Lots of hydro, geothermal, radon gas. Is that what it's called? SNEW? Is it radon gas? Yeah, well, that gas burn off, Duarte, doesn't sound clean, but you know, it's cheap. Yeah, we're not Bart. We're not no currency pairs today. Where you should not be looking or trading any currency pairs today. So I'm going to purposely avoid them. Keep it actually a shorter session. Why didn't I get long on Monday? Where? On what? Yeah, so we're staying away. I mean, we looked at the Australian dollar, Japanese yen yesterday, and that was forming in a triangle pattern, right? But best to stay away until it breaks out. Best to stay away until it breaks out. You can see over here, it's in the triangle. You can see that it's actually, this is what we're watching. That's the resistance. That's the support waiting for a break above or down. And until that happens, you should just be waiting on the side. There's no edge here. There's no edge whatsoever. So just stay away from the currencies right now. Trying to get you all seeing clearly. Trying to get you all to understand the environment you're in. I saw a lot of over trading going on this week. A lot of over trading going on, and I don't know if that was coming from the desire that all right, now I have actually a little bit of time to devote to the markets, so I'm ready to go in big. What's going on, Jackie? Yeah, I wasn't looking to trade the S&P this week. I was not looking to trade the S&P. I let everyone know what was going on, right? Let everyone know who was what was going on. All right, everyone. We're gonna call it a session because the girls are waking up, and I'm gonna go have breakfast with them because we are in that what do you say in that vibe. That's where we are. Tomorrow, non-farm payrolls. It is going to be a volatile session. Looking forward to it with you all. And then we'll tie up for the weekend. We got a 3-day weekend. We will take it as it comes. Today, I think I'm off the surf. Off the surf, getting out of the water. When was the last time you see me out of the water, right? Getting out of the water and just kind of continue working on yourself. Continue working on your goals. The only way you're going to achieve anything in life is if you have real concrete goals and you're working towards them. Yeah, Tim, absolutely. Absolutely. Miguel, have a beautiful day. Thomas, everybody, Reza, everyone have a beautiful, beautiful day. What would cause you to add to existing positions? Um, that's time frame. That's time frame. If you're a swing trader, Jason, then take every swing trade as a unique swing trade. Obviously, don't be, you have 3 trades a week, Jason. Are you adding to a position that week? It could be. You could be holding on to a trade and be adding to it. Great to have you here. Great to have you here. Lawrence, everybody, Jenny, thank you. Have a beautiful day, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you for non-farm payroll tomorrow.